3 a.m. most nights I wake up and the faces of those people that I've seen drown visit me. That's had a huge effect on my life. And they're not even my family members. I rack my brains every night, often at that 3 a.m. time, trying to think of how I can promote that awareness for water safety. That's my motivation, to use stand-up paddleboarding as a tool to raise awareness for water safety and drowning prevention. In 2021, I stand-up paddleboarded the entire mainland UK coastline, but I didn't do the whole of the United Kingdom coastline. That was just mainland, so I had to go to Northern Ireland in 2022 to get that 250-300 kilometres of the Northern Ireland coastline completed. The Northern Ireland coastline is incredibly unique. It has all the good, bad and ugly bits that the whole of the rest of the UK has. What I mean by that is it has massive beaches, it has ridiculous tides and flow, it has huge cliffs, it has picturesque scenes, it has all the best bits of the UK in this little tiny 250-300 kilometre stretch. So it really is a test of your understanding of the conditions, to be able to use those conditions to paddle hard, to paddle well, and get your adventure completed safely. So when paddling in Northern Ireland, it's really important for me to show different paddle environments. This is why when I got to Coningford Lock, I wanted to actually paddle the lock. I didn't want to go from Southern Ireland straight across to Northern Ireland coastline and cut the lock out, which I could have done. And what an absolute blessing it was to paddle that lock, because the day I did it was stunning morning conditions. It was first light before the winds, of which they did come in later that day massively, before they all kicked in. To paddle out of there and to see the glory of the coastline there, the cliffs, the mountains in the background, it really was a stunning pleasure. And of course, really highlighting the fact that the water in and out of those locks can be quite extreme at times. And really, you need to know what you're doing, so you're never dragged into that situation, and understand just how important it is to work out and know tides and the flow of water on our coastline. Northern Ireland is a really good example of the misconception that we think that the tide comes in and the tide goes out. On our coastlines of the UK, the tides, the flow of the water, moves on along our coast. So it's either going from left to right or right to left. When we have the misconception of the tide coming in, that's just the tide rising. It's not the flow of the water, which is often going in a different direction. So understanding how to use the tide can make a big difference to your paddle. Within Northern Ireland, I made sure I was working with it, not against it, because when it's going at 5, 6, 7, 8 knots, when you've got it with you, you are flying. You get some big distances done, whereas you'll never be able to paddle against it. I was privileged to be able to finish Northern Ireland in 7 days, because I used the conditions in all its different directions and flows and times in my favour. And when you do that, it's a powerful tool to display and encourage safe water usage. There's not much that we have to do to make a real difference for accidental drowning prevention, understanding how to use our blue space safely. Whether you're just visiting the beach with the dog, or you're paddleboarding the Grand Canal in Ireland, no matter what you're doing, the message of water safety can be so simple to keep you safe. It's not complex, it's not rocket science. It's just understanding your conditions and environment when you're near water. If you're going in the water, have you got the right equipment? Have you done the right preparation? Understanding that you're not invincible, and the power of the water will always be more powerful than you are. So being humble when near water, understanding it in the same way as you do when you cross a road. Stop, look, listen and appreciate what's going on around you before you take that step. When will my paddleboarding for water safety awareness stop? it'll stop when in this country we've got an appreciation and an understanding of water safety, and accidental drownings are almost a thing of the past.